everybody and welcome back to my channel. I know that it has been a hot minute. As you guys know, I had another surgery, and if you follow me on social media, I posted a super condensed version of surgery and what that looks like. So I'll post that down below for those of you who get into this video and realize that you don't really care about all the details of that day. However, I know some of you guys are super invested in my journey and do care about the details and the process of surgery. So that's what this video is for. It's just providing some insight, getting into some pretty great detail, I think, of anesthesia and pain. I do have like gaps of time throughout the past couple weeks where I don't remember anything. So I hope that this comes across as, you know, you guys can follow along. I can't make any promises. I can only remember what I can remember. So the surgery that I got done was called a presacral neurectomy. I will break down what that means in a second. This is the third surgery that I have gotten for my endometriosis / suspected adenomyosis in under 2 years. A presacral neurectomy is when the doctor or surgeon goes in to your uterus and cuts the nerves that conduct pain signals to your brain. This surgery has a 75% success rate, so if all goes according to plan, you should not be able to feel your uterus after surgery, which is the goal for me. So I had pre-op the day before surgery where I just kind of talked to my doctor. We went over what all he was going to be doing. He said that he wanted, while he was in there, to go back and look at my organs that had past endo on them, just to make sure that my endo hasn't grown back already or there wasn't some sort of issue. And if there was, he could just take care of it right then and there. The plan going into the surgery was cut those nerves and just check out my organs. It was not supposed to be super invasive, I thought, and you know, there was supposed to be minimal cutting, I thought. As you guys know, I have very severe anxiety, so starting from pre-op up until after surgery, I was on Xanax for every moment of it. So cue the gaps of time that I don't really remember. So surgery morning comes around and me and my family go to the hospital. It is my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. I'm sorry you spent your day at the hospital. And this is when the anxiety starts to set in a little bit of what is about to happen to me. So I got checked in and I got my IV, and I already had a Xanax that morning, but they ended up giving me some more something to calm my nerves because I guess it was kind of obvious that I was freaking out a little bit. My nurses this time around were really cool. I mean, they did a really good job like keeping me distracted and just having conversation with me to get my mind off of things. Some of my nurses were the same nurses that I had last time, so they would come in and we would be like, oh yeah, like I remember you. I didn't really remember a lot of them because drugs, but they all remembered me, so that's kind of cool. So I went into surgery morning with one goal in mind, and that was to talk to my anesthesiologist before I go into surgery. If you watched my last surgery video, you know that I had a very, very traumatic experience with anesthesia where I woke up into like the worst panic attack of my life, and I honestly felt like I was dying, and it was absolutely terrifying. And I think that the panic attack was caused by the doctors waiting too long to put me under, and with having severe anxiety, it gets worse when people touch me. I had a lot of people touching me, and it sent me into a panic going into surgery. I woke up from surgery in that same mindset, and thus panic attack. So I wanted to talk to my anesthesiologist before going into surgery and basically tell them, hey, I have really severe anxiety with people touching me, so as soon as I get back to the OR, I need you to put me out. And my anesthesiologist was so cool. I remember this so vividly. She was a woman, so bonus points already. She had such a good understanding of like anxiety. Like most of the time when you talk to someone about anxiety, they don't really understand. You know that they don't really understand, but they're like trying to kind of wrap their mind around it. She had a very good understanding of anxiety, and she was very reassuring. She told me that when she brought me back there, that she would be the one that, you know, put all the stuff on me that had to be put on before I could go under, and she was gonna make sure that no one else touched me while she did that, and then she was gonna like walk me through the whole entire process. And I really, really, really appreciated that. That is exactly what I needed to hear before going into this. And then it came time to take me to the OR, and this is, like last time, around where things started to fall apart for me. Last time I had an anxiety attack because I felt like it took them too long to put me under. This time around, I feel like they put me out too soon, or I was too drugged to like know what was going on. Basically, I have this whole entire mental process that I go through with myself as they're wheeling me back to the OR, of just like walking me through like what is about to happen. Like, I know I'm going to the OR, they're gonna put on an oxygen mask, they're gonna stick me with all these little stickers, and like I go through a mental process that is very vital to, I feel like, my emotional state going into this whole entire thing. Because I was either too drugged or unconscious altogether as they were bringing me back to the OR, I do not remember anything. This time around, it was like I was talking to my mom after I talked to the anesthesiologist. We were having a good time, and then there's this period of time that I don't know what happened. I don't remember anything, and then I wake up from surgery. So, you know, there's this big gap where a lot of things were happening that I can't remember, and I just didn't have the time to go through my mental process, which is very important for me going into surgery. So I woke up from surgery, and obviously the last I remember was I was just talking to my mom, hanging out. So I woke up really confused, disoriented, I was still very drugged, and I was just in a little bit of a panic because I was confused and drugged, and there wasn't a nurse in the room with me by the time I woke up. So I woke up, I was startled, I didn't know what was happening, I was looking around, there was no one around me to like say like, hey, it's okay, or like, this is what happened. There's no one there to like reassure me in any sort of way. So I do start to fall apart a little bit. It is nowhere near as bad as my last surgery, but by all means, I was still highly upset, and it did take me a certain amount of time to, you know, calm down and kind of grasp reality and what is happening again. So there's that. I'm going to pause the story right there and go into surgery and basically what my doctor was doing in that gap of time that I don't remember. So my doctor went in, cut my uterine nerves. There was no issues regarding that, which I'm very grateful for. He then started to go outside of my uterus and look around my organs. This is where things get interesting. The good news, and this is what I said in my Instagram post essentially, the good news is that over the last 6 months since my last surgery, no new endometriosis has grown, which is great. That means I'm still technically in remission, even though I'm still in pain. No new endo. Great, good stuff. Unfortunately, everywhere and every organ that had endo on it was essentially replaced with scar tissue and adhesions that had grown in my healing process after getting my endo excised. Scar tissue itself, similar to endo, gets really like sticky, and just, you know, you don't really want scar tissue hanging out in your organs. Because there was, I guess, quite a lot of scar tissue and adhesions, it had actually adhered my uterus together with my bowel, so those two organs were essentially one. So this is where surgery starts to get more extensive than what I had planned for. Originally, I thought we were just cutting some uterine nerves and just looking around to my insides. I thought surely with having surgery 6 months ago that everything was going to be fine, and then it turned into cutting those nerves, separating my organs that were stuck together, and then re-excising and scraping out all of the scar tissue and adhesions, which was on multiple organs of mine. So that was surgery. Going back to my perspective on all of this after waking up from surgery. If you watched my last surgery video, you know that last time I had a nerve block, which is really, really great in terms of the first couple days of recovery. You can't feel your abdomen, it's completely numb. I ended up having issues with my nerve block last time when it was time to go home because I still couldn't feel my abdomen. Thus, it created some issues that you've probably heard me talk too much about already, so I'm not going to go into that too much. But going into the surgery, because I thought it was just going to be isolated to my uterus, and if all goes right, I won't be able to feel my uterus after surgery, I didn't want the nerve block. I didn't want to deal with the potential issues recurring. I just thought I could handle it. But because my surgery ended up being more extensive than me and my doctor both thought it would, waking up to my uterus being cut into, my bowel being cut into, all my organs kind of being scraped and, you know, cut into, you know, there was a lot more pain that I was waking up into than anyone was kind of anticipating. So not having that nerve block ended up being probably a poor decision. I believe I was going in with the right intentions, but because surgery was more extensive, waking up from surgery was the worst pain I had ever felt in my life. I remember them carting me back to my hospital room, and I physically could not move myself from the gurney to my hospital bed. I was quite literally just paralyzed and the most excruciating pain you can think of. And you know, the hospital is really good with pain management, but there is a certain amount of time from waking up from surgery to getting hooked up to a pain pump where you are painfully, literally aware of your body and how that feels. So I was quite a mess. I was quite a mess, and I feel so almost embarrassed that my family saw me like that. Half of my mind was so caught up in the fact that I was in tremendous, tremendous pain, and then the other half of my brain was like, you need to pull yourself together. Literally, your whole entire family is watching you break down right now, and they're probably really concerned, so you need to stop what you're doing. It was not fun. So eventually, you know, they got me on the pain pump. I was super, super drugged and, you know, more gaps of time that I just don't really remember. It was great. This hospital stay was definitely better, in my opinion, than my last hospital stay, which was good because with how awful I felt, I just really needed a win of some sort. And I actually ended up seeing my doctor while I was in the hospital, which did not happen last time either. So I had a moment to talk to him. I don't really remember a conversation whatsoever. I do remember seeing his face, don't remember what we talked about or anything like that. But for some reason it just, I don't know, it was really reassuring to see him after surgery and just talk to him, even though I can't remember what was said or anything like that. I left the hospital. There was no issues as far as my bladder or any other organs that needed to function as a requirement to leave the hospital. It was very much, we just woke up the next day and got my pain under control, and then I went home, and it was very easy, and I'm very grateful because I don't think I was in the mindset to deal with the issues that I had trying to leave the hospital last time. So that was definitely a win. I'm very grateful for that as well. As far as recovery at home, you guys can probably imagine it's been harder than I thought it was going to because my surgery was more than I thought it was going to. I have been in bed a lot. I have been watching a lot of Stranger Things, and I've been trying to stay on top of my medicine as much as possible because I hurt. Obviously, I am not far enough in my recovery yet to draw any conclusions of what the surgery did for my health or whatever, because everything is still healing and not happy, and when you cut into your organs, believe it or not, it takes a while for that to kind of heal. So I'm just taking it one day at a time. Sorry about the lack of videos on my channel. I also moved bedrooms before surgery, so I was doing that, and life is just crazy. So that's where I've been. For being honest, I don't know if I'm going to jump back into YouTube and be super consistent in my uploading like I was before. I tend to fall into a bit of a depression after each of my surgeries, and I would probably imagine that this time is going to be no different than last time. So please be patient with me as I recover and deal with, you know, everything that brings. But thank you guys so much for watching, and if you were one of the people that messaged me before surgery or the day of my surgery and sent me love and encouragement, thank you so much. I don't think I responded to really any of you, but there were a lot of messages, and it was almost overwhelming the amount of love that I got. So if that was you, thank you so much for just taking a moment out of your day to send me something, because I did read everything, and it really helped going into surgery knowing that I was loved and people were thinking about me and praying about me and whatnot. I feel very, very grateful for the amount of love that has been given to me over the past couple weeks, and yeah, thank you. I think that's about it for this video. I think I remembered to include everything. I essentially just wanted to talk about anesthesia and my nerve block and what my doctor found. So because I covered all those points, I think we're about done here. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, feel free to give it a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel down below for more content, and I will see you guys later. Bye.